How do JavaScript engines optimize dot versus bracket notation? Imagine you're trying to find a book on a shelf. If the book's label is clear and fixed, you can grab it quickly. But if the label keeps changing or is hidden, it takes longer to find. That's similar to how JavaScript engines handle accessing object data with dot and bracket notation. When you use dot notation, the property name is fixed and known at the time the code runs. The engine can then use special tricks like inline caching and hidden classes to access the property very fast. These tricks let the engine remember where the property is stored, so it doesn't have to look it up every time. Because the property name is a valid identifier and doesn't change, the engine can optimize access paths ahead of time. On the other hand, bracket notation is more flexible but less optimized. When you use brackets, the engine has to evaluate what's inside the brackets at runtime. This could be a variable, a string, or any expression. Since the property name isn't fixed, the engine can't predict where to find it in advance. It has to perform a dynamic lookup each time, which takes more steps and slows things down. This is especially true if the key inside the brackets changes often or is computed during execution. In terms of accessing object data, dot notation works best when property names are known and valid identifiers. It makes code cleaner and faster because the engine can optimize property access. Bracket notation is necessary when property names are dynamic, contain spaces or special characters, or are stored in variables. For example, if you have a property with a space in its name, you must use brackets to access it. For web development, this means you should use dot notation whenever possible for fixed property names. It makes your code easier to read and runs faster. Use brackets only when property names are dynamic or unconventional. Knowing how JavaScript engines optimize these two ways of accessing data helps you write more efficient code. When you stick to dot notation, your code benefits from the engine's ability to speed up property lookups. But if you need flexibility, brackets are your tool, just with a slight performance cost. In summary, JavaScript engines optimize dot notation by using static property names to access data quickly. Bracket notation involves dynamic evaluation, which limits these optimizations and makes access a bit slower. Choosing the right method depends on whether your property names are fixed or need to change dynamically.